Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Diamonds and Washi. My name is Katie, and if you are new here, hello, welcome. I hope you'll consider subscribing, and if you are back, as always, welcome back. Today I'm here with my weekly WIP and Chat, and if you're new or not sure what that means, WIP stands for Work in Progress, and Chat just means we're going to spend some time together today chatting and catching up. I always look forward to these WIP and Chats where I get to just check in with you, share about life, share about crafty things, and also hear from you guys in the comments to hear just about what you've been up to and how things have been going for you. So feel free to pull out a project to work alongside me. I'm going to be working on a diamond painting today, and I know a lot of you will diamond paint alongside me and treat this a bit like a podcast. You're welcome to watch if you like. I'm trying to have this set up so that you're able to see me diamond painting if you want. But yeah, let's settle in. I am, as far as what I'm going to be working on and with today, I'm working on this piece from Jada Gem Shop called A Crystal Ball. This is by John William Waterhouse and is an old master's piece. It's actually a crop of the original artwork. The original artwork is taller, like you see the bottom of her dress, and I think that's the only way it expands. I don't think it expands above this part too. Excuse me for starting out the WIP and Chat yawning right away. My goodness, a minute and 20 in, and here we go. Anyway, this is by the artist John William Waterhouse, and I may have already said that, but I have been working on a John William Waterhouse piece each year since I started Summer with a Masters with my original co-host, and didn't want to break from tradition this year, but I wanted to go a little bit smaller. So this is 50 by 50. Oh, and we're going to be over, I'm almost halfway done. Once I finish the section I'm on right now, I will officially be halfway done with this piece. So we're right over here, like kind of in her elbow and this wall over here. So very, very exciting stuff. As far as accessories go, I'm going to be using this pen, which is from a relatively recent small shop haul that's from Bistro Blanks. It's a Troya pen, and it's a little bit thicker than I usually end up diamond painting with, so I'm curious to see how comfortable this feels. I feel like when it comes to what kind of diamond painting pen you like, as far as if you like one that has a thicker turning or a like a thinner turning, it's so hard to tell. I wish this is something I could give advice on or do like a how-to on, but so much is just going to depend on your own sort of body and how like you hold things and how like your hands and your joints are and stuff. So, but I do know, my understanding is that if you have maybe like tendinitis or like tendon pain or arthritis or something, that often a thicker pen like this can be helpful. So it might be worth a shot if it's something that you struggle with. But anyway, that's from Bistro Blanks. And then this tray, this is actually from Yellow Dog Designs. It's I think their narrow line. Does it say on here? It does. This is narrow and then version 1. But this kit is so confetti heavy. I thought this could be a good one to try out this much smaller tray on. Usually I work with larger trays, but I wanted to do a smaller tray so I could test out this particular tray for you guys. So we're going to try this one today. I don't remember what the color was, but it's got this color shift. It's almost like watermelon-y. And then for wax, I'm going to be using this fruity jelly bean scent from Pure Bliss Wax Company. And I'm going to use this in my single placer because my preference is to use wax in my single placer. And then I like to use putty in my multi-placer. I'm going to be using this Diamond Painting Putty by Cat putty, and it's in the scent Sweet Strawberry Sherbet. So I forgot to grab a cover minder, but I think otherwise we'll be good to go. Let me just get my pen ready and we'll get started. Sorry, I had to fix something with my camera real quick. Okay, so let me see. I need to grab one of my metal multi-placers. And I saw a trick for using hot glue to put those in, but in a particular way that I hadn't thought of before. And so I'm gonna have to try that sometime because I'll tell you more about it another time. But oh, have I not used this one before? I guess not. It doesn't look like it. So I'm just gonna scrape to load my single placer. I feel like that tends to work best for harder waxes like this. I just kind of turn my pen and go multiple directions and scrape, 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 and then just sort of even off the end. So hello, how are you doing today? I hope that you had a really nice weekend. If you're in the States, you may have had a long weekend. Actually okay, it just needs a little bit of washi tape. And if you're not in the States, I still hope you had a nice weekend, and that your week is off to a great start. Happy Monday. one of the reasons I really enjoy doing these WIP and Chats on on Sunday nights is because it's just part of me shifting my brain back into the regular week mode and transitioning out of the weekend. So happy to be here to check in with that. We had a pretty relaxing weekend here. It was very, very hot, so it was like stay inside, stay in the AC as much as possible, get some diamond painting done. But I made some progress on this project in particular. In our last week's WIP and Chat, I was working on Magic Arcades by Miss Holly and Diamond Art Club with you guys. That is not finished yet, but this kit came in from Jaded Gem Shop during the week, and I just knew I wanted to start on it right away. I started to panic thinking that I wasn't going to finish it before the event ended, and so I thought, I'm not going to leave anything to chance. I'm just going to set Magic Arcades aside and start working on this project right away, and I'll just come back to Magic Arcades once I feel like I've made enough progress on this one that I have time I can go back to it safely, or maybe I'll just work on this one till I finish it and go back to Magic Arcades after. But Magic Arcades is bringing me a lot of joy, and that one is over halfway done. I've gotten into some of the special drills on that one, which has been neat. And then this kit, you didn't miss anything. I did not put up any sort of unboxing for this particular kit because it came in, and just the way that my week was, I wasn't going to be able to put up an unboxing video for it. I just wasn't going to have time. So I thought, well, I don't have to put up an unboxing for every single kit that I end up working on. I think you guys will understand. So I just kind of opened this up like a normal person and just kitted up and away I went. I don't know about you guys. I've been dealing with some pretty bad static with my diamonds lately from like every single shop. It has been rough, and I don't know if it's just something about like what's happening with the weather and the heat, but it took me a while to kit this project up because I was having to either stick a dryer sheet in each bag or because I couldn't even get them out of the bag without having just horrendous static. So I was either doing the dryer sheet thing in the bag or doing you know how you like breathe in the bags as if you're trying to like fog up a mirror or something? That kind of humid breathing out tends to work really, really well. Adam was like, what are you doing? That's my husband. He's looking at me. I'm like breathing into every bag because he came over to talk to me and he sees me doing that. I'm like, there's static and it's killer. And believe it or not, this is the way to deal with it really effectively. He's like, all right, well, just add that to the other list of funny things that I see you do as a diamond painter. I'm like, yeah, after 4.5 years, still finding new things about diamond painting to surprise you with. But this has been going along pretty well. And like I said, I started that first year of Summer with the Masters in 2021 with working on a John William Waterhouse piece. I ordered a custom of it from a shop that has since shut down. It was from Uniquely Yours Down Under. And the story behind that, like why John William Waterhouse, why this particular artist, how did this come about that I ended up, sorry, this is loose, I'm gonna add another bit of washi tape to it. How did this come about that all of a sudden that this is, my 4th year in a row of doing a John William Waterhouse piece for Summer with the Masters? So a very small confession to make is that when Jessica and I were brainstorming the idea of doing Summer with the Masters, this was again like early 2021. We just knew that we wanted to do something together, and we were both just kind of brainstorming and trying to think like, what is something that hasn't been done in the community before? What are some of the needs that we're seeing in the community that we can try to meet? And what are things that we feel passionate about? And so those things all kind of came together and included things such as we both feel really strongly about using licensed artwork. If you're newer to the diamond painting world, you might not even know who I'm talking about when I say Jessica, because she has been off YouTube for a couple of years. She went to grad school. She's doing amazing things, and I adore her and miss her dearly from YouTube, but she's doing well. I keep in touch with her off YouTube, and her channel is Tiny Worlds of Wonder. And gosh, she had just some of the best content. I think it's all still up and still there. You can go take a look if you want. just because it's older doesn't mean it's not good. But she actually, she was one of the first kind of crafting YouTubers that she ended up getting a copyright strike for showing stolen artwork on her channel. And this was back when, was this like 2019, I think? And this was before there was really any awareness, or at least much awareness. I shouldn't say any, that's not fair. There really wasn't much awareness surrounding the idea of licensed artwork, why it matters, what it is, like what does it even look like. It was just sort of the sense of, oh, we're just all buying from AliExpress because that's where you can get diamond paintings. There were, I think at that point, there were less than a handful of shops that were kind of, more based in the States, even if they sourced their stuff from China, but still like companies based in the States that were selling diamond paintings. So choices were pretty limited. And I guess people just didn't really know any better. But then Jessica got a copyright strike on her YouTube channel and did this incredibly informative video because she used that to turn it into a learning experience where she was like, I need to educate myself. I need to understand this. She spoke with, lawyers and just to get a sense for how does this work? What does this look like? How do I navigate this so that I'm not showing this on my channel? And how do I do right by artists? Because obviously, like, I think her daughter is an artist, and it's like she didn't want to be doing anything wrong or unethical. So and then once she put out that video, that felt like there was just kind of surge of awareness and whatnot for like, let's support artists and make sure what we're doing is above board in terms of licensing. So then we started to see, more and more shops open carrying licensed artwork and whatnot. But anyway, so there was that, obviously something that she felt strongly about. And I had, I was right there with her as far as like, yeah, no, licensed artwork, I agree, support this. So there was that. But then we would hear a lot of people, especially at the time when there's only, a half dozen shops carrying licensed artwork for people to buy from. For a lot of people, they were saying, I can't afford it. It's just too expensive. And so we thought, well, okay, so maybe we can cover something that maybe is more affordable and accessible to people. And then I don't remember exactly what it was that I just kind of started digging, and I was like, there's this whole idea of public domain artwork and things that are in the public domain and copyright free, all those, which I may be getting some of those terms mixed up. They can mean different things, and I'm not a legal expert at all. But I thought, there's, a couple of these shops have Starry Night, Diamond Dots has some of these, like other Van Gogh and Klimt pieces and whatnot. But there's this option to use this artwork, and it's all completely above board to use, and people could order customs of this artwork from wherever they want to that they can afford, and so they can have it both ways. They can have something that is affordable and is still like respecting artists, and hey, there's this whole area of artwork that it feels like there isn't the same presence of this kind of artwork in the diamond painting world as there was at the time. Things like fantasy, which I say with all the love in the world, fantasy is my favorite genre to diamond paint. Fantasy or portrait style pieces or landscapes or something. I thought, well, it's just classic artwork that could even tap into a whole new like kind of diamond painter and draw more people into the craft. So basically, when I was researching and trying to get a handle on what artwork is in the public domain, how does this work, where's the line and everything, and what is out there, I really want to get a sense for what is some of this classic artwork that would be available. What does this look like? And then at one point I came across it was an image of Miranda the Tempest, or is it just The Tempest, and by John William Waterhouse, and I just instantly fell in love with the image, and I thought, oh, that's it. I like the whole style of this, and just sort of the emotions it's evoking and whatnot. And so that was really one of the first Old Masters pieces that I personally really fell in love with. And then from there, I started to explore what else does this artist, John William Waterhouse, have to offer, and very quickly realized that, oh, so this is the old masters artist for me, because I love doing portraits and portrait style pieces and things that are just really, I don't know, like there's a lot of emotion in them, and that's John William Waterhouse's artwork to a T. So that first year I did that custom of Miranda the Tempest, and the second year I already had a couple of different pieces on my list of, oh, I would love to, do a custom of this, and I want to try out some other companies that do customs. And so then I got the second year I got my custom from Dreamer Designs, and I think, was it called Destiny? And I kind of want to do another pass of that one because I wasn't super excited about some of the ways that turned out, but love the artwork. And then last year I did Psyche Entering Cupid's Garden, and then this year I'm doing the Crystal Ball. So I knew this year that I wanted to work on something smaller. I knew I wasn't going to have a bigger project in me for this summer because I feel like I was just coming out of some just a little bit of like skirting burnout, and so I didn't want to take on a large piece. And I was also already working on a really confetti heavy project at the time, which was the Jada Gem Shop comparison project. So I just knew I need something that's at least smaller scale. And so that's how I landed on this one. I'm like, okay, this looks good, and the size, I can still do a John William Waterhouse, but it's not going to be like a huge undertaking. And I'm really happy that I went this route. Because of like his artwork, this is not necessarily my first choice for what I would have picked to work on for like my favorite artwork, but there are a couple other pieces that I just want to be able to do them justice in terms of getting a big enough size, or getting like the full version as opposed to a crop. So yeah, I'll save those for a future year. There's no reason to think that we're not going to keep posting Summer with the Masters. So I've got time. But yeah, so that's kind of the story behind like why John William Waterhouse, and how did that even start. And I thought maybe you guys might be interested, especially if you hadn't been around back in 2021 when we launched the event, to see just sort of how that came about. And if you didn't know about Jessica from Tiny Worlds of Wonder, like please go and visit her videos if you're just looking for some really just good quality stuff. But also she's just one of the kindest and sweetest people in the world. She's just so enjoyable to listen to. Like her voice and like how she talks and how she talks about things is just really enjoyable. So much love to Jessica. And that's Summer with the Masters. I finally, this past week, if you didn't have the chance to see my month in review video, I did finally pick out the logbook that I'm going to be using for my next logbook for diamond painting. And that is the one, I don't have it handy. That would have been really smart if I would have grabbed it to be able to show you. But it's the one that is nautical themed and has the compass on the front. I might have talked about this in last week's WIP and Chat, so apologies if I'm repeating myself. I can't quite remember. So that logbook, it was actually really cute. I showed that and one other logbook to both of my kids and to my husband. I was like, which one of these do you like best? And all three of them picked the nautical one. And I was like, I think it's just confirming, because that's the one I was already, at that point, I was pretty sure I was going to do. But I was like, let me just see. Let me just do a little test here. And part of it is that I just love the idea of it being like a ship's log. It's like a log of my journey, and like this journey is going to have lots of ups and downs. Like it's going to take me through a lot of different parts of life and whatnot. So I liked that. I also, when I was looking at the compass on the front, thought, you know what, this actually kind of looks like a diamond too. So this is the one. It just made me so happy. And I tweaked a little bit about things that I wanted to include in my logbook entries, and may try to continue to tweak and add to it further, but for now I think I'm pretty happy with it. It took me a while to sit down and update it because I was over a month out of date at that point, because I kept just struggling with indecision on which logbook to use. But it's finally all caught up. I feel much better, not like I'm in danger of forgetting something. And like as soon as I started writing in that logbook, I just felt this sense of confirmation. Like, yeah, no, this was the right choice. This was the one that you love the most. So, yeah. So that's that. I finally finished that, and then I feel like I've had some fun videos go up the past few days too. So today, in case you missed it, the Drills and Chills official announcement videos went up on my channel and Lindsay's channel. So yes, finally, official announcements are out there. We did, you may have noticed if you watched and you participated last year and have a better memory than I do, you might have noticed that we did streamline a couple of different things. And I think that's just going to make it feel a lot more, like I think it's going to be easier for event participants. I think it'll be a little bit easier for us as hosts. Not that I'm at all trying to complain about hosting. It's just it's a big undertaking, and we want to make sure that we're doing it well so that it's working well for the people that are participating. And so I'm hopeful that the way that we have it is gonna just make it easier and whatnot for everyone, but still be really fun. Still be really, really fun. I'm happy that we have that official announcement out there, and my goodness, the way that I would love to have some fall weather in my life right now. It is so hot. And this is, it's tale as old as time. I complain about the summer heat every single summer. It's just not for me at all. And it just, yeah. So, fall weather, I'm channeling those cozy, cool vibes so much right now. So the Drills and Chills video was timely, but I can't wait to see what everyone's going to work on if you're joining in. No worries if you're not going to join in. There's a lot of people that just feel like participating in events is too much pressure. And so I get that. Please don't feel obligated. But if you do join in, I hope that you have fun picking out what you're going to work on. I'm hoping, I don't have any insider info here, but I'm hoping that we may see some of these shops do some Halloween and fall themed releases sooner rather than later. So we have time to, pick out kits, get them in, get them kitted up. But the event goes for 2 months. So if they come in, in September or something, that's fine too. But I'd love to be able to see what's coming and maybe be able to shop from those a little bit. I do have a number of kits in my stash though that I would happily pull out to work on. Probably too many choices, honestly. But yeah, so the Drills and Chills video went up, and then it was very spur of the moment. I decided, I'd originally been planning on just putting up an unboxing video on Friday, and then I was literally sitting down to film on Thursday night and went, you know what? I think I actually, instead of doing an unboxing, how about I do a review, like tutorial of the new Diamond Art Club refillable pens, because I feel like I've seen a lot of people asking about it and trying to understand a little bit about how it works. Why don't I just do a quick little a review and tutorial, and maybe I can share some tips because I've used it on a few different diamond painting sessions. Maybe I'll have something helpful to share. So that was very spur of the moment, and I hope that it was helpful and useful. It's not a pen that I'm going to reach for very regularly because I do like pens that have a little bit that are a little bit more ergonomic for my diamond painting style, and I also use a multi-placer so much, like even to single place drills, that I'm not really getting much use out of the refillable putty portion of it. But I think it could be a really nice inclusion for brand new diamond painters. I'm curious. I would love to talk to a brand new diamond painter that is their first toolkit or one of their first toolkits and hear what do they think of it. Are they like, this is great? Or are they like, this is so weird and confusing, why? I'd be so interested to find out. So if that happens to be you, please leave a comment or send me an email because I'm so intrigued. So yeah, it was a fun week for videos, and as far as the upcoming week, and videos, I have a lot. I feel like my whole week is already mapped out with things. I am really excited about some companies that I'm working with to put out some videos, some new releases. You're gonna see some unboxings from me from Diamond Art Studio UK. I love this small shop so much. They have some really gorgeous artwork, and so there's just such sweet shop owners, and they reached out to me to ask if they could send me a kit or two to share with some new releases they have coming up this week. There's some cute ones, and they signed some new artists recently and have some nice like hand charting. And so if you guys haven't checked them out, please do. I know if you're in the States that shipping costs can be pretty high from the UK, and it can be cost prohibitive for some, but it is, I think, are they still doing, I can't remember, they might have updated this. I know that they eat some of the shipping costs, some of the international shipping costs, because they're trying to keep it down for their international customers. But at one point they had flat rate shipping, or essentially flat rate shipping. So whatever it was, I think that it still works this way in the sense that it is more cost effective. I'm trying to think how to put this. What's the way to phrase this? If you buy more kits, the shipping doesn't go up. Like if you buy 2 kits, the shipping isn't double the cost of buying 1 kit. It goes up less. So you kind of dilute the cost of shipping if you buy more than 1 kit, if that makes sense. So it's like if I'm buying, then I try to, wait and buy maybe 2 kits or something, so that it just makes a little bit more sense financially, like basically what I'm spending per kit. But yeah, so some unboxings from them, and maybe some catch up from Diamond Art Club. I'm not sure. Things are still a little up in the air shipping wise. I don't know when I'm gonna get those kits in. We'll see. I'll squeeze those in. And then there's one more that I guess I'm not gonna name yet, but I've been teasing them for a while. I thought we were gonna do our video this past week, and we bumped it to a little bit later. So hopefully later this week though. And that'll be fun too. So I try not to go overboard with doing a lot of I guess PR kinds of unboxings. But I feel like I haven't done that many recently, so hopefully it doesn't feel too out of place. I really prefer to buy my kits as much as possible from shops, and then I feel like I can give you maybe a slightly more neutral and unbiased review as much as possible. And also that just lets me support the shop owners directly too, because I don't ever want to put them out. But still, fun things coming this week, and maybe I'll be able to squeeze in, I have completed some kits, maybe I could squeeze in a review or something like that, or maybe I'll finish my Disney sticker book. We'll see. Hopefully it's good stuff. But yeah, so I feel like I've been going a little bit hard on videos lately, and just not just videos, honestly, but kind of life in general. I feel like I'm trying to keep a lot of plates spinning, and I know the importance of not overdoing it and not burning myself out by kind of overcommitting and trying to do it all. At the same time, the way that my brain works is it's thinking, but how close can I get without crossing that line? How much can I get away with trying to do before, how close can I toe that line before it's too much? I don't recommend approaching things that way, but it's like a hyper efficiency kind of mindset. And I've talked about this before, just how I feel like I'm forever struggling to make sure I'm trying to find a balance in things, like practicing self-care while also taking care of my kiddos and trying to be engaged with them and meet their needs, and at the same time also diamond painting, which is weird because it's both a hobby and something I do as part of YouTube, and so it's hobby and work-ish and so that's I don't know what box to put that in, but and then making sure I'm making time for my husband, and him getting extrovert time, me getting introvert time, us getting just quality time, getting to hang out, and then making time for friends, making time for family. It's a lot to try to balance. I'm not very good at it. I wish I were a planner person. I feel like that would help, but that's, yeah, not totally it for me. But I don't know, this past week, I feel like I did okay. I was trying to get some things done related to just the situation we're in with job hunt for my husband. And so it was a lot of like, okay, let me apply for this. Let me see what programs we may qualify for. And really, really appreciate, by the way, last week when I shared, and I felt like I was being really vulnerable to be able to just kind of come out and say, like, look, I'm not doing okay. Like, I'm struggling. I'm hurting. This is hard. This sucks. Like, I'm not going to put on a face. Like, this is hard. And I was really touched by the kindness, the encouragement, the letting me know, like, it's all right. Like, you don't have to always be perfect and have it all together. And many of you shared, like, advice or thoughts on, like, here, you can do this. And I appreciate that so much. So thank you. I really, really appreciate that. It meant a lot to me, and still, and means a lot to me too. Where was I going with that? Working on applying for things, trying to do things. But this week was a little bit slower because it was a holiday week, and I feel like there were a lot of places that just straight up like took the week off. And so this upcoming week, there's a couple of places that I think I'm going to try to go in person. I guess I don't want to go into like too much detail because that feels overly personal, but I think that there may be some support services or assistant services that may be available to us that I think just what's on the online form is not, I don't know that I'm fully understanding enough to be filling it out correctly for our situation. So I think maybe just going in and talking to someone could help. So that may be something I try to do this week, especially because my youngest will be back in school on Monday. And yeah, so hopefully I can get some of those kinds of things taken care of. I got, our healthcare squared away, but I have to jump through some hoops now. Like, I had to put Micah's speech therapy on hold because our new insurance is an HMO, and where before we had a PPO, and it's like a new insurance company and stuff. So we have to get with HMOs in the States, because healthcare in the States is just, it's great, you guys. It's awesome. Sarcasm. We have to get authorization, basically. Like, we have to get like I have to double check. We have to still get the referral from our pediatrician all over again, or if it just has to be, if just the speech therapy center can submit directly to the insurance company for approval. And then we have to wait till we get that in, and then he can start back up. Otherwise, it's not covered. So we'll get there, though. He still gets some speech therapy in school, and I really think that a little bit of time off is going to be it's going to be okay. We'll get back to it. We'll get back in our rhythm very soon. And as far as like getting him back in there, and kind of figure all that out. Did I miss any of that symbol? That is one thing I'm running into with some of these symbols. It just feels like my brain doesn't want to pick them out from one another very well, and it's so confetti heavy that sometimes I always feel like I've missed at least one. Like, I'm here to pick out, just pick and place one color, one symbol that I missed. But so thanks for all the encouragement last week. This past week, while not a lot happened in terms of moving the ball forward on things, that unfortunately meant that for me, it kind of translated into having a higher anxiety week, because I felt like I was spinning my wheels just a little bit, and I was having to kind of sit on my hands and wait because nothing was happening for the long weekend, like 4 days. And so I've talked about this before, but I'll mention it again because it was so incredibly, it was like an epiphany to me when I heard this and understood what this meant. And in case that might be this for someone else, but I have a diagnosis of just like generalized anxiety disorder, and so anxiety, and a lot of times what anxiety will manifest for me as is anger. And so I'm less patient. I feel like I'm less kind. I feel like I'm just not super fun to be around. I just don't feel like I don't know. It was a interesting revelation to me to realize that, anxiety can manifest as anger. That and having it explained to me by my therapist, this idea of like, yeah, because your brain is doing this, and I'm not a therapist, I'm not giving any medical advice, but it was just sort of this sense of, oh, this makes so much sense now. And the ways that mental health struggles can manifest in ways that aren't stereotypical, I guess. Like anxiety doesn't always mean having a panic attack, or, you know, depression doesn't always mean just sitting like in bed, unable to get out of bed. It's like, there's really complicated other ways that it can manifest and be affecting your day to day. So I don't know if you're ever wondering about that, or you're like, I have this emotion that doesn't totally make sense, I don't know where it's coming from. Huge proponent of therapy. I think that therapy can make such a big difference. So anyway, all this to say, this past week was a not wonderful anxiety week for me. I felt like I just, shorter fuse, snapping at my husband, and a little less patient with my kids. I'm hoping this upcoming week will be better. I tried to really like recognize it and unpack it, and it's a high stress phase that we're in, and I recognize that, but I still want to try to navigate it as gracefully and as kindly as I can. But gosh, no, I'm so incredibly human. But yeah, hopefully this upcoming week will be a little bit better. We didn't do a lot on the 4th of July. Unfortunately, Adam and Micah were under the weather, so we weren't going to try to, especially Micah, keep him out late with fireworks and stuff. But we were really fortunate that we actually were able to see fireworks from our upstairs, like the upstairs bedroom windows. And so at least Connor was able to get like a fix, and he was perfectly content with that. So I felt better because my gosh, on top of the guilt that I feel from like having high anxiety and that translating to me like not being as patient with my kids, like that just exponentially magnifies my mom guilt. But yeah, I was having some mom guilt over like, dang it, like Connor's disappointed that we're not taking him out to fireworks, and it's like, maybe I could have taken him, but it just ended up not working out, and that's okay. But I felt a little bit better when at least we were able to see some fireworks from our home. Admittedly, they're definitely illegal fireworks because they're not legal in our city, but yeah, I guess there's that. But very uneventful. Connor went to a movie with his cousin and my sister-in-law. It was the new Minions movie, and I think he had a fun time with that. And then we actually took the kids to Chuck E. Cheese this afternoon. My mom was so incredibly sweet, and when kind of everything went down with Adam's job situation and me being like, okay, well, we're canceling all of the camps that we were planning to do, and all of that. And she was like, well, hey, Chuck E. Cheese has this summer like program thing, this card you can get, where it's like you can go in every day and play, and depending on the level that you get, it's like so many games basically. And it basically equates to, I'd asked one of my girlfriends about it, and she had said it's around like an hour, depending on what kinds of games your kids are playing. She has 2 kids and had taken them and was telling me about it. And I was like, okay, this could work out really, really well. Like, it's inside, it's air conditioned, and it's able to get the kids out of the house without spending anything extra. So my mom so sweetly got us that card, and so we activated and used that today, and the kids had a great time. It was just under an hour of playtime in the end, and it was perfect. It was the perfect amount of time, and they were happy to get out of the house and happy to go play, and it was good. So I'm planning to make a lot of use of that over the summer, because we can literally go every single day that we want to, which is great. So if there happen to be any parents here that are looking for things to do with young kids, you have a Chuck E. Cheese near you, I feel like it's a pretty darn good deal given how much you get out of it. So I guess just FYI, now you know. But yeah, we got to do that today, and it was a good way to get the kiddos out of the house, get them running around. Micah was feeling better, so it was like, okay, we're good taking him out and not feeling like we're exposing a bunch of other kids to his germs. So that was today, and then otherwise it's been pretty low key. Connor had swim lessons last week, and we're doing it like 2 days a week for 5 weeks is what we're currently scheduled for. And so we had one on Monday, one on Wednesday, and it was rough. It didn't go super well on Monday. He was really, really, I think also not clicking with the instructor, but it was just a lot for him. And that happens sometimes with something that's really brand new. That's not uncommon for kiddos that are autistic. So it wasn't shocking. And he expressed some nerves leading up to it, and we talked a lot about it. But then still in the moment, it was a little bit tough. So then we were both a little anxious going into Wednesday's lesson. But then we walk in, and the Wednesday, the person that was teaching doing his lessons on Wednesday was a different person, and it was this guy that Connor just instantly clicked with. Like, they both just, it was like, okay, no, they get each other. This is great. And so as soon as that lesson was over, well, once it was over, Connor said to this guy, he's like, "You're the best swim teacher ever." And I was like, well, your Monday swim teacher is over there and may have heard you, but that's fine. It's okay. She knows that it was a little rough too. And so as soon as that lesson was over, I sent a message over to, the coordinator for the swim school. And I was like, hey, so Connor really seemed to get along great and just jive really well with and be more comfortable with this instructor on Wednesday. I think we could switch our Monday lessons to, like, it can be any day of the week, but if we can see him, like, whenever he's available, we'll be there. And so he did have some availability on a different day, and we're just gonna make that switch. And I think that will be definitely the way to go. I think Connor will be a million times more comfortable. So fingers crossed he keeps making progress and gets a little bit more, not only comfortable in the water, but just feel like he can actually swim. And yeah, so we'll get there. I feel better after having a much better second lesson than the first. We've been doing some movie nights with him. Actually, mostly Adam has been doing them. And because it's summer break and we're trying to get some good quality time in with both our kiddos, and Connor keeps requesting the classic animated Batman show, and Adam is just over the moon. He's so happy, and it's so cute. But I love that Connor's loving it. I was sitting in with them and watching a couple episodes, and there was one that we were watching that I was like, man, this is a kid's show. This seems kind of intense. If there happens to be someone here that knows the show and would know what I'm talking about, it's in the first season, there's an episode with Clayface that is, it just is very intense and really intensely animated. And I just kind of kept peeking over at Connor and be like, is this scaring him at all, or is he good? And he was totally fine. But how often do you feel like you look at movies or TV shows from your childhood and go, that was really not super kid friendly. I can't believe that I was allowed to watch that, or wow, actually that kind of scarred me for life a little bit. This came up actually in my friend Sophie, the Diamond Help Desk's Discord the other day. We were talking about kids movies and how weird some of them were, and I was like, and then we were like, what was with all of the mouse movies? This is kids movies in the 80s, 90s. Why were there so many kids movies that the main characters were mice? What was why? why mice specifically? And also, holy cow, some of the movies that were coming out at the time, anything by Donald Bluth was so, it was weird. All Dogs Go to Heaven and stuff. It's what in the acid trip is this movie? So it's so funny. But because as a kid, I feel like you just kind of take it at face value. You just go with it. But then when you kind of rewatch it as an adult, you go, huh, Belle from Beauty and the Beast actually had Stockholm Syndrome. I'm kidding. I love Beauty and the Beast. But no, it's, things you see a little bit differently through through a adult's eyes as opposed to when you're a kid. But anyway, all this to say, I don't think the animated Batman series is like that. I don't think it's too over the top for Connor, but there's just a couple things that I went, ooh, that's a little, I don't know, like, is that scary? Is that intense? Or is that just normal? So, anyway, that's been fun. And Micah's been still really into like all things Mario. He found a YouTube video of where someone was doing a walkthrough at it's not Mario World. I think it's called Super Nintendo World at the Universal in Japan. Or is it even at Universal, or is it just like it's this freestanding? I don't remember. Basically, it's the Mario Land in Japan. And Micah was just completely enthralled. And we have a Super Nintendo World at the Universal that's by us, like in LA. I think it's much smaller, but it's like on our bucket list to take Micah there. And honestly, Connor would love it too. But it would be really, really fun to go there someday. And I think the kids would just be staring around with like slack-jawed because it's like, oh, you're like in Mario Land. But yeah, no, we're not like flying over to Japan to visit it. But maybe Universal LA at some point. We'll see. What else? Let me poke my head over and look at my notes because my memory is so bad. You guys, if I don't write it down, it's just gone. Oh, yesterday I had the chance to go out with my friend Rachel, and we get together. It ends up being like every other month really, because it takes a lot of like coordinating, and sometimes like, you know, she'll have a migraine or I'll have a sick kiddo, or, you know, something will come up. And so thankfully it's never like an issue, like no one's ever hurt feelings or anything. It's just well, we'll make it work when we make it work. So thankfully we're able to make it work this past weekend, and kind of did our usual, let's go shop it. There's a giant Home Goods and TJ Maxx down in Irvine that we like to go to, and then grabbed, you know, lunch down there. And she was so sweet. She picked up Starbucks for me on the way over. I hadn't had Starbucks since Adam had lost his job, and because I was like, no, we are pinching pennies. I'm window shopping at Home Goods today. She was so sweet. She's like, I know you haven't had Starbucks, so here you go. And I was like, oh, thank you so much. She knows my drink order. But it was just good. It was good to get out with a friend. I feel like as an adult, sometimes I really struggle with friendships in a way that I don't feel like I did when I was younger and in high school, or in college I struggled though. So I don't know. In high school I don't feel like I did, but college on, it's just, I don't know, it's never super easy. But this is a friend that I've had for, since we moved out here 14 years ago, and have just done a lot of life together with, and it was just good. It was good for my soul to get to spend some time with her and just catch up and see how she's doing, what she's up to. She's a teacher, so she's on summer break, and we're talking about maybe trying to get our kids together one of these mornings, especially while my youngest is at school. That could be a fun thing to do, to get her kiddo and my oldest together. So yay. I was social this past weekend though. Like, I went out, got out of the house. Adam is always he's so supportive of that, because he's great about getting out of the house. He's an extrovert to the max, and if he doesn't get his friend time in and like his social time out of the house in, he gets a little stir crazy. Just like I need my introvert time, like my time to where I don't have to, have my brain on and be like engaging with anyone. I just need quiet and chill time. I'm much happier when I get that. So we're pretty good about trying to make sure the other person gets what fills their cup. So it was good. Yeah, it was, all things considered, there were a lot of things that did go well this past week. So I'm gonna try my best to focus on those things as much as I can. I did have a better week health-wise though too, which was nice. I only got a headache, like a bad headache. I think I had one migraine and then one just kind of regular headache. The regular headache was not a surprise. It's when I was working out in the garage for a couple hours trying to pull kits and stuff for my D-stash, and I kicked up a lot of like dust, and I was moving a lot of stuff around, and I'm like focusing on my computer screen to like print labels and whatnot. And I always like that kind of thing always kind of gives me a headache. So not totally surprising, but otherwise I feel like my health has been better this week, which is good. But thanks for all the positive thoughts with that last week. As far as what I've been reading and watching and listening to, so reading wise, I'm in a little bit of a slump, but I was talking with some friends about like sort of listening to books versus like reading them with your eyeballs. How would you put that? Reading a physical book, reading them with your eyes instead of your ears. And I'm curious, what's your preference? If you have one, do you like to read a physical copy of a book, or do you prefer an audiobook? I like audiobooks in a lot of ways. I love that I can listen to them while I'm diamond painting, so I'm getting to multitask a little bit. But I feel like I experience the story differently when I'm listening to it instead of physically reading it. Like I just absorb it in a different way. I don't know if it's because when I'm physically reading a book, I will often, especially like on sections I'm really enjoying, I'll go back and I'll, before really moving on, I'll sometimes reread the same, sentences or paragraphs or something more than once until I feel like I've just really like, I don't know, gotten my enjoyment out of it or something. And I can't do that very easily with audiobooks. It's just a different experience. And I maybe the way that I picture it is different too when someone's reading it. I'm like hearing it as opposed to reading it on a page. So I don't know. I'm curious to hear what your preference is with that. Watching, well, funnily enough, Adam and I have both been rewatching Deep Space Nine on our own time, but we're at different parts in it. But we keep overhearing what the other person is watching and listening to and going, oh yeah, that episode. Since I only watched the show once through, and some of these like early seasons, I watched them years ago, I just don't remember them very well, and I am enjoying going back and rewatching them with the context of knowing where the characters end up at the end of the series. So that's just what I do when I get really into something, is I go really overboard in terms of like consuming it. Like as soon as I got to the end of the show, I was like, okay, no, we're starting from the beginning because I need more. I'm not ready to be done with it. And I'll move on to the next thing in a couple weeks, and we'll see what that ends up being. I saw an announcement, I think it was some kind of social media, probably Facebook, about how they had cast Henry Cavill in a Highlander remake. Now, I never watched the first one, but I'll watch about anything that has Henry Cavill in it. So do I need to go look up Highlander? And if it's a show, it's like, oh, great, then that's something that I can sort of like sit down and soak up and whatnot. Is it based on a book, or is it just a show? I think that I hear Highlander and my brain immediately wants to think of Outlander, and it's not the same. But they sound so similar. My brain wants to mix them up. So yeah, I need to go maybe find out more about that and see. Is this something I need to try to get into? Even though it's probably going to be forever before anything is even like ready to release, but gotta get ready, I guess. And then as far as listening goes, nothing new on this front, but it's funny. I saw a reel the other day, and again, I just can't remember if I mentioned this already, but I saw a reel the other day that made me laugh, where it was talking about the Taylor Swift's most recent album release, which is the Tortured Poets Department, and just sort of the stages of how you feel about that album, and I was like, this mirrors exactly how I felt, where the first few listens through, I was like, well, this is good, but I also like, it just seems like it's not totally for me. I don't know that I really love it. It just seems a little angsty. I don't know how much I'm really getting into it. I'm having a hard time really connecting with it and getting into it. But then it's like, you're getting more into it, and then it's like, oh, 36 weeks later, 6 weeks later, 8 weeks later, it's like, oh, wait, I've been listening to the same album on repeat since it released, and I haven't listened to anything else. And that's what I kind of realized that I've been doing, and I was like, oh, I think I do like this album more than I've realized. It takes me a little while to really absorb things, especially stuff that feels like it's a little meatier, like like this album was. And now I'm finding there's just a lot that I'm enjoying. And I kind of cycle through what my favorite, you know, tracks are at any given time. And I guess for the moment, some of my favorites have been, well, The Black Dog has been one of my favorites, and Can Do With a Broken Heart. And then I've just really been digging The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived and feeling like this is such a, like, especially her Eras Tour, like, performance of it is, it's just so fun to watch in like a, I don't know, angsty way. So that's kind of my reading, watching, listening to. Not anything really brand new and exciting, but I'm enjoying it. And then as far as what I have coming up this week, I guess I talked about this earlier in the video already, but it'll probably be an unboxing heavy week. There may be some days, like a day or two, that end up having 2 videos. We'll see. It's going to depend a little bit on the mail, but I definitely have videos planned for I think Tuesday, Wednesday, unless something changes, and then more this weekend, and then I'll figure out something to kind of mix it up to throw in the mix here. But we got most of the red done. This is this is her elbow, and so you can see all those really pretty shades of red. It's obviously really pixelated up close, but I'll tell you what, Jaded Gem Shop, I feel like one of the things that they really do best is their old masters. I think that they just look incredible. Those were some of the very first kits that Jaded Gem Shop released when I started doing diamond paintings. And they just, I think they look really good. So I'm excited to see how this one looks once it's complete. Now, what did I think of my accessories today? The pen was still, like, it was a little thick, but it was not uncomfortable. Like, sometimes when I work with thicker pens, it does feel like my fingers feel uncomfortable by the end, or they're like extra tired, and I didn't really have that today. I like this tray a lot, but I needed to really stop pouring in as much as I did, because I ended up having a ton of diamonds piled at the bottom every time, and I know I just couldn't manage to stop myself from doing that. But this is great. Everything lined up amazingly and poured out really well, so I'm a fan. I think this worked great. No complaints about the wax or the putty. They both did a nice job. I haven't used this putty in a while, so I'm glad I pulled it back out. Let's see. Oh, you guys, I forgot to show you this. Oh my gosh, I meant to show this at the beginning. I need to show some of my Summer with the Masters videos too, but look at this release paper that Crafts with Crashly made for us for Summer with the Masters. They did these like frames. I know I have where the focus set, so I'm trying to get it, so I'll show you. Saying they have Summer with the Masters at the bottom, and they have these different artworks. Like, look at that great wave. Oh my gosh. So they did this whole set, and they sent sets to Anthony and me, which is wonderful. So if you're interested, come and take a look, you guys. These are so fun. Some of these I haven't even seen before. So props to them for finding some new kinds of artwork to do. Oh, that's so pretty. Maybe to the end. Like cityscape. Oh yeah, that's the end. Okay, so what should we do for our emoji? How about something with the color red in it? Since we basically were working with the color red most of this WIP and Chat, doing the colors in her dress or robe. An emoji with the color red in it. Let me know how you guys are doing. How was your weekend? What's your week look like? Do you have anything fun coming up or anything you want to share? What were you working on while we chatted today? Just anything you feel like sharing. I always enjoy reading your comments, and thanks for taking the time to watch. Please subscribe if you're not already subscribed. I'd love to have you here, and I hope you guys have a day and a week that's as amazing as you are. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.